Hey, what's up, sports fans? It's Sean with your F What You Heard YouTube channel, podcast, baby. Week 7 in the NFL. Let's get it. A lot of stuff going on here with me personally, but I'm still going to try to make it happen no matter what. So let's get right to it. Not going to shuck and jive. Just want to go ahead and take a look at a few games and then give you my picks for the game. So the first game is going to be the Chiefs against the Titans. The Chiefs have been struggling mightily on defense, and the Titans got their running game going. So I foresee more of the same. More of the same, my friends. So I see the Titans running roughshod over these guys. And then, they got enough offensive weapons on the outside with Brown and now Julio Jones to make sure we keep them honest, that they just can't stack the box and stop Derrick Henry because we got some playmakers on the outside. So the Titans are going to win this game easily. I'm going to pick them to win in a shootout, 35-30. Next, the Bengals and Ravens. Divisional game. The Ravens are coming off a couple of pretty good wins. Cincinnati Bengals are rounding into shape. The J&J connection. So Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase. J&J, they hooking up like no one before. They're making it happen. So I foresee the Bengals having an upset of the Ravens. So they're going to go on the road. And the Bengals are going to play well, continue to play well. And that combination of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to continue to be lights out and play well. I'm going to pick the Bengals to win 28-20. 28-20. Bengals. Next, I'm only picking 4 games this week, by the way. So the next is Colts 49ers. The Colts go out to the 49ers. Both teams have been struggling. Both teams are not, their record doesn't reflect that they're, very good teams. The Colts are 2-4, and the 49ers are 2-3. So I'm going to pick the Colts. They're playing a lot better. I think Frank Wright and Carson Wentz are remembering who they were from their Philadelphia days, and they are putting those things into the playbook and into the game plan, and I think they're going to make it happen. So I'm going to pick the Colts in a very close game. I'm going to pick them 20-17. 20 points for the Colts, 17 for the 49ers. And this is just going to fuel more Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance debate and who needs to be the starter, who needs to move on, things of that nature. And, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a quick, fast, and week in picks for me. So the last game is going to be the Saints and the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. The Saints playing decent ball. Jameis Winston is trying to find himself, and they're trying to find a identity on offense when it comes to Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara, and things of that nature, and what Sean Payton is going to do and like to do with Jameis Winston in this offense versus Drew Brees. So Taysom Hill is a little banged up, so I don't believe he's going to play this week. So, and Russell Wilson is out. So for that reason, I'm going to pick the Saints to win in a tight game. I'm going to pick them to win 24-20. 24-20. The Saints defense is okay. So I'm going to pick them to win in a tight game, the Saints 24-20. Last thing I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is the line between talking heads, people in the media, sports writers, Whether you write a column, whether you write a blog, whether you do what I do, whether you're a former player turned into, a commentator type of person like Shannon, Sharpe, Randy Moss, so on and so forth. Listen. So, and the reason I'm addressing this is Shannon Sharpe, DK Metcalf got into a little spat. So, um, whether or not you've played, in my opinion, whether or not you've played at high school level, collegiate level, or NFL level, and or whether you've played at all, if you've been around the game, if you follow the game, if you understand some of the nuances of the game, no matter what it is, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, baseball, it doesn't matter your personal experience in playing the game versus someone who hasn't played the game. You can be very intelligent and speak about the game in a manner in which you quote unquote criticize or shed a light on something that a player is doing, a coaching staff is doing, or organization is doing. Those types of comments have their place and are quote unquote justified for the most part. Some people do it just out of spite, just out of negativity. Other people look at it through a lens where it's constructive. And if people are playing bad, or players are playing bad, or if they have a faux pas, have a brain fart at some point during the game, people like myself, Shannon Sharpe, former players, people who haven't played before, understand the nuances of the game and situational football, basketball, whatever the case may be. So, number one, in my opinion, athletes need to get their, have a mental check per se, just take a step back and really look at what's being said, how it's being said, and put everything into context based on the situation that happened. So DK Metcalf, instead of taking a ball, catching the ball, then stepping out of bounds immediately based on the situation that was happening, he didn't. He got the ball punched out, so he fumbled. They potentially wouldn't have even had the chance to go into overtime. So luckily, he had another player on his team that was Johnny on the spot, recovered the ball, and they were able to kick the field goal, go into overtime, and then subsequently lose in overtime. But they could have lost the game right at that moment. So Shannon Sharpe was just like, hey, what is he thinking? People have criticized Chris Webber, during his time at the Fab Five and the infamous no timeout, timeout. People at the moment was probably saying, what was he thinking? So, but I've never heard Chris Webber blast anybody for saying like, what was he thinking? Oh, you probably had some people saying, oh man, that's a bonehead move. So, but he owned it instead of DK Metcalf owning it and moving on. That's all they had to do. It was a stupid bonehead play. And all he had to do is say, yep. At that particular moment, I don't know what was going on through my mind. Especially, the ball got punched out, and we could have lost the game right then and there. Thankfully, I had a teammate that hopped on the ball and, the game progressed. But, just own it. Like, hey, I made a mistake. I should have just stepped out of bounds, you know, or given myself up, drop down to the ground. Boom, move on. But you're getting into a tit for tat when anybody and everybody who looked at the situation, even played football, and Shannon Sharpe played at a high level. He's a Hall of Famer. So a lot of times, in my opinion, he has a little more insight and a little more credibility when it comes to criticizing someone constructively in this particular case. So, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time. Until next week, peace out. Tell your friends, tell your family, share this video. It's the F What You Heard YouTube channel. Love you guys. Till next week.